In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my journey on becoming a real estate agent. There are a lot of people in my circle who ask me this question, so I figured if you are somebody that is thinking about becoming a real estate agent, hopefully this video can bring you some sort of value or direction. What's up, friends and family? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you all the luxury on my life and my path on becoming a real estate agent. This video will mainly focus on my pre-licensed lifestyle and decisions I've made up to me becoming a real estate agent. So let's get into it. My whole life, I've basically played basketball and football, so I understood at a very early age that if there's something that is worth having, you have to work very hard for it. So if you want to win a basketball game, if you want to win states, if you want to win your regionals, Christmas tournament, whatever the case may be, you have to work very hard and try your best. So that transferred to my personal life. So growing up, literally anything that I ever did, I put my all into it. Whether it was me trying to win a spelling bee in elementary school, me being in the band in middle school, or me working on a high school project. Everything I ever did, I put 100% into it. So fast forward, and by the time I was graduating high school, I had to start coming up with my postgraduate plans. So for me, it was either to play professional basketball somewhere, get my degree and become a sport agent, and then become a real estate investor. That was the plan that I always seen in my head. So by the time I was getting ready to graduate high school and I was preparing for college, I had to come up with my post-high school plans. And for me, it was to either play professional basketball somewhere and become a real estate investor, or to become a sport agent and become a real estate investor. Then I entered the illustrious Winston-Salem State University to earn my degree in sports management and begin to chase my dreams. So the next thing I knew, 3 years of college went by and it was my senior year at my university, and I had to figure out what my next stage of life was going to be. I had a few internships lined up in my field, so I figured I'd just take one of those positions. However, when the hiring process started, both internships that I had at the time actually didn't choose me as the new employee. They chose the other interns, so it left me with no job in my field, at least coming straight out of college. So after I finally earned my bachelor's degree in college, and after reading tons of self-help and financial literacy books, it was basically time for me to make another decision, and I decided to just go ahead with my real estate career instead of going into more debt, going into grad school, and being there for a few more years to hopefully get a very sustainable career. The book that I read always pointed out that real estate is the #1 profession that builds the most generational wealth, and I definitely wanted to have a part in that, so I figured I would go ahead and get my real estate license, meet with people in this field who are already successful, and pretty much just make a name for myself in this field. I know that this business always rewards agents that work hard, and since I know I'm a very hard worker, I figured that this profession would just fit best for me. So at this time, in 2018, it was roughly $550 to attend Superior, and if you didn't pass their class, you were allowed to take the retake again for $170. It is a 7 to 8 week program. For me, I always did the Monday, Tuesday, 7-week program. So for 7 to 8 weeks straight, every Monday and Tuesday, I couldn't work. And at the time, I was actually the assistant sport coordinator at the YMCA, and I was an after school counselor. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, I had to tell my boss that I couldn't work because I had to physically be somewhere, because not like 2020 where everybody took real estate school online, I had to physically be at a venue and learn real estate. I had to tell my boss that, yeah, I can't work before 4 p.m. So if we have a game afterwards, or something like that, I can make it work. But I'm missing out on money Monday and Tuesday out of the week when I normally was making money. So then I had to do other things. I picked up doing Lyft and Postmates whenever I had spare time, just to make a quick, few $100. So then at the end of the 7 to 8 week program, Superior lets you know that you get to take the test with them, and if you fail, you get 1 free retake. And if you don't pass that retake, you then get to take the class again for $170. So for me personally, when I first went to take the class, I took the test and I failed by about 7 points. It was a little discouraging. Then I retook the test again, failed by the same exact 7 points again a few weeks later. So then I had to crack down and study some more. So fast forward a few months later, I signed up to take the class again. It was like I want to say like in the fall, beginning of winter, and I did the 7 to 8 week program again, Monday and Tuesday. Took the test again, just to fail again by 2 points this time. So then I go take the free retake and fail by 2 points yet again. So this time when I failed, I was actually a little bit more motivated because I wasn't far off. Like, I know a lot of people that take this class, people that pass, people that don't pass. And for me to see that I was only 2 points off, it didn't keep me discouraged. It actually kept me more motivated to keep studying. So then that way, when I took the test again, I could just pass. So I buckled down, I took the class a third time. This time, I made sure that I was retaining the information like the first 2 times I took the class. And this time I actually had a study group with a few people who are actually real estate agents now. I only speak to one of them now, I don't speak to the other 2. But that group actually helped me a lot when it came to studying, and I retained the information a little bit better because this time I actually passed the test with 5 points to spare. So at this point, I am at the second step of earning my real estate license. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned the steps. So step 1 is to take the class and pass, which I just did. The second step is to pass the state exam. And then the third step is to hang your license somewhere so you can actively start doing real estate. So at this point in my life, it was about February 2019, and I just took the test and I failed. I failed by 1 point. It was very discouraging. It was making me upset because I did so much studying. I was studying for literally 8 months to get my license. So then I finally get to the point where I take the state and I failed by 1 point. But after failing and I calmed down, I got motivated again as usual for me. And I realized that the whole time I was at Superior, they told us that Superior's test is actually harder than the state test. So that's why their pass-fail rate is so good, because if you can pass their class test, you're more than likely going to pass their state test. And I only failed by 1 point. So obviously I was retaining the information. So I cracked down, studied for a few more weeks, took the test again in March, and I ended up passing. So now I am at the third step of becoming a realtor, and that is hanging my license somewhere. At the time when I actually finally hung my license at a firm, I was still working at the YMCA. I picked up another job part-time at FedEx, and I was also doing Lyft and Postmates on the weekends just to make time to make money and still be able to do real estate. So as I was learning the ins and outs of the business, it was a little bit difficult for me to keep up with handling phone calls while working 2 jobs, not getting in trouble trying to do real estate while at another job, because I did get in trouble a few times at the YMCA for trying to work on real estate. But that was a lot to handle, and it was definitely a handful, but it was worth it in the end, because after about 8 months of doing all of that, I closed not only my first deal, but I closed my first 2 deals within the same week. So once I got both of the incomes from those deals, I quit FedEx. I still did Lyft and Postmates, but not as much. And I actually started working less at the YMCA. So then that way I could give more time to real estate, because my goal was to be a full-time real estate agent. So in total, it took me 8 months to earn my real estate license. It took me another 8 months to close my first 2 deals within the same week. So at this time, I actually want to break down the cost that it took for me to actually get my license versus the cost of it was for me to get my first 2 deals. So at Superior, like I said, it was $550 to start the program, give or take. It might be different now, I'm not 100% sure. And it was also $170 to retake. So I paid the $550 and I retook the class twice. So I spent $170 twice, and that came to a total of $890. Then when I went to go take the state exam, and since I had to do it twice, it was roughly $164, and taking that twice made the total to be $328. So altogether, with the 8 months of real estate that it took me to get my license, I spent about $1,200. And when it took another 8 months to actually close my first 2 deals, I made $3.5K, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at the time for me in 2018, that was a lot of money for me, and enough for me obviously to quit one of my jobs. So as I'm learning more about real estate and more deals are closing every year, once it became 2020, I actually went and became a real estate agent full time around the time that everybody in COVID-19 had to get laid off. So that's pretty much my journey on what it took for me to become a real estate agent. And if you've been enjoying this content, I would very much appreciate if you drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Doing so will help me out so much as I push out more content. So I thank everybody for watching, and I hope you have an abundant day.